Welcome everyone to this session. Today we will discuss about the second step to choose your indicators, and this session is also has relation to the number 5 session. So today we will discuss about the tips of the selection of the indicators in the projects, and this also has relation to identifying indicators and targets. So the second things that we will choose in the indicators is the tips for the choosing of the indicators that we will select for our projects. So first of all, we will have these four finds, and we must consider this in our project. The first point is each indicator should measure only one thing. This is the characteristic of the indicator, that each indicator will measure only one thing. Indicator cannot measure more than one things. And we will have mixed monitoring and evaluation indicators for in the every project. Also, the third tip is we will have mixed quantitative and qualitative indicators. Therefore, the quantitative data play significant role in the project, and we can easily analyze it. But beside of this, we need qualitative indicators and qualitative data in the project or program. And number four tips, we must research the indicators that other projects use. Uh, so we will discuss these tips one by one. So little bit we will discuss about how to choose the indicators. So it is important for every single project. For a small project, we choose 8 to 10 indicators. Therefore, at selection of indicators, when we select indicators, it means that we must collect data. So it takes time, and it use our money. Therefore, we must hire a data collector, and we must collect data, and it take time and require for time and money. So it's important to choose at 8 to 10 indicators for a small project, but this has relation to the program characteristic, that how wide is the program. For example, the World Bank and USAID funded projects has more than 13 or 30 indicators in a project, and they collect data for all these 30 or 32 or till 40 indicators. So it's belong to the project uh, extension and how the project is big or small. Also, in some country, in some countries, donor uh, give specific indicators to organization, that they must track these indicators performance and their countries. But if we choose and we design a project from our side in the country, we must have at least one indicators for each level. For example, for input level, we must have one indicators per output level, per outcome, and impact level. But it is not uh, bounded to this, that we must select one indicators for inputs. In some cases, we have four or three indicators in output level and two indicators per output level, and one indicator for outcomes and impact level. So these tips must be considered in the selection of the indicators, and it's very important to consider these points when we select indicators. So now the tips we will read one by one. The first tip is, tip number one is, each indicator should only measure only one thing. Here we have two indicators. One of the indicators is incorrect, and for example, why it's incorrect? Because it tracks two things: number of teacher trained and career guidance distribution. So the career guidance distributed. So it tracks two things. According to our criteria, the indicator should only measure one thing. So this is wrong indicators, and we did not consider it in our project. We would discuss this in the indicator characteristic in next lessons, that how to choose indicators and by which criteria. For now, only I have bring one example that here one indicators track two things and measure two things: career guidance distribution and teacher training. So we must write this same example in the correct format, and we must divide this indicator by two indicators. Number one, number of teacher trained. So this is correct indicator because it tracks only one thing: number of teacher trained. And number of career guidance resources distributed. This is also track one things. It means that guidance resources distributed, so it show the numbers, and we can easily measure and track these indicators. But the number one, that they track two things, we cannot measure it easily and we cannot analysis, and it's a very dumb one. So tip 2, monitoring and evaluation indicators. We must have monitoring and evaluation indicators for in our project. And some people think that the process indicators and our input and output level used for monitoring, while outcome and impact indicators are used for evaluation. This is not a correct idea because in some cases we use input and output level indicators for evaluation, and outcome and impact level indicators for monitoring. So this is very important that we will have mixed monitoring and evaluation indicators in the project. Without this, that we will have only monitoring indicators, it will damage our project or evaluation indicators. So we must have mixed monitoring and evaluation indicators in the project. Tip number 3, include a mix of quantitative and qualitative indicators. Like as we will have mix monitoring and evaluation indicators, here we must have quantitative and qualitative indicators. Therefore, beside of quantitative data, we need qualitative data as well in the project. The qualitative data we have defined in the previous lessons, that it measures the feeling, thinking, satisfaction of the people against the projects, and the quantitative data measure the number, ratio, and percentage, and it is numerical. So here also we define the quantitative indicators. Quantitative indicators are those indicators that only measure number, meaning to measure numbers. So, and for quantitative, through quantitative indicator, we collect quantitative data. And qualitative indicators measure what people think, feeling satisfaction of the people. As I said, that we need qualitative indicators in the project. Here one thinks that we must understand that the qualitative indicator, when we collect qualitative data through qualitative indicators, it need for deep analysis, and we cannot measure by number and percentage and ratio, and we cannot apply the simple statistical formula. So it need for more explanation, and it need for more specification and deep analysis to get a results. But the existence of qualitative data in the project is very important, and we must have quantitative and qualitative data in the project. So tip number 4, research the indicators that other project use. It's very important because through this tip we can research indicator that already other project use in our sector. For example, we implement a project in agriculture sector, or we implement a project in health, engineering, construction, tailoring, or any other field, or any other enterprise that livelihood sector. So these projects are implemented already by other donors in different countries, and we can search it by the through Google and other search engines. And one of the website is that it is very helpful. That is Indicate. We can search it in the Google. So the Google through Google we can find this website, and it has more different projects and different sectors. Here are more key performance indicators with their tools, and we can use these indicators by the with the reference. For example, XYZ project performance indicators we use for our project. This is very helpful because we save time and money, because the development of the indicators, or to develop an indicator, is not easy. So these indicators are already tested, and we can use it for our project. But the indicator should be in the same context and to our project, and we can use it by the only searching, and we can find more indicators in this good website Indicate. It is very helpful. So these four indicators, so through these four tips, we must select our indicators for our project, and we must consider it in the project.